Hi guys, this is Mrs. Gonzalez. I'm a counselor in the guidance department at the high school. I'm recording this video today to help you all with filling out your Common App. So this video is going to take you through the Common App and the different components that you're going to need to be aware of while filling it out. So first thing you need to do is Google commonapp.org and it will bring you to this page. So once you click on Common App, you come into Common App, their sign-in page. You can see it's asking for an email and a password. So we haven't created an account. So we first need to click on create an account. And we are going to click on first year student. And then we are going to begin to fill out this information. So as you can see, it's asking for your email address, password. We're going to retype the password and give a bunch of information with your first given name, your phone number, date of birth, so on and so forth. You'll continue down the page to answer your questions. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, when you get to the end, you're going to click on create account. So as I click on it, after clicking on the account, it's going to load my page. So I put in a fictitious person, as you can see, because my name is not Adam. And we logged into the page. So you can see it's a Common App main page. We have these different tabs that go across the top of the page. And we're going to first start with the college search one and work backwards. So if I click on college search, this is where you'll type in any of the schools that you are looking at. And I suggest that you put in all schools that you're thinking about applying to. And if you decide later that you're not going to apply to all of them, we can always delete them out of your application. So the first school I'm going to put in here will be Stonehill College. So this is a typical search. So I can search half the name, hit enter, and as you can see, it comes right up. So I click on the school itself, and it adds Stonehill College to my page. I click and add it to my colleges. And then I'm ready to search again. So if I want to click into the search, it allows me to come back and maybe add in another school, such as I'll put on Boston University. Click enter, scroll down, and here it is. Click on it again, add it to my colleges, and now it's stored into my Common App. So now that we've gone ahead and searched two schools, you can search as many as you'd like to add them into your Common App. Please make sure that you click add to my colleges, and it will be stored here. So the next piece I'm going to look at is the actual application piece of Common App. So Common App has many different tabs that we'll be clicking through today. The first of which is the profile. So you can see the Common App. These are the different components to the Common App. And within each component, we have multiple things that we need to answer. So you can see it's the first name is Adam. I use the last name Smith. And scroll down. Have I ever used any other names? No. But if you have, you would obviously put yes. Adam is a male. So I click on male. And I will continue down the page. And as you can see, there are multiple tabs here that you'll continue to go on and fill out. I'm not going to go through all of these today, but I just want to show you, for instance, if I click continue, and now it's going to ask me to fill in my information with regard to my personal information, my addresses. So stopping there, one area I would like to point out in the profile section as you fill it out completely is the citizenship one. Now, this is a very simple question, but what I want to caution you to is that it's going to ask you to select your citizenship. So I click on it, and I'm going to say U.S. citizen. Then next, it asks me for my social security number. As you can notice, or should notice, there's not a red asterisk like there is up here down by this social security number. So I caution you to potentially not fill this out until you have that ready to go. So you can then enter in your social security number here. So it then can connect with your financial aid form down the road. This is really, really important that you pay attention to it. So I suggest you don't even fill it out to begin with. And again, until you have your social security number ready to go. Once you're ready, then go ahead and fill it in. So I mentioned previously that the Common App is made up of all of these components in addition to these. You can see there's a green check mark here. That means I've completed the personal information part. And as you start to work your way through the Common App, you'll notice that all these areas would also be checked off as green, indicating that you have completed all of them. So I'm not going to click into every single one of these, but you would go into the family section and fill out information about your family. Again, I'm not going to click through all of the pieces of this. It's self-explanatory and you'll have no trouble getting through it. The education piece, I am going to click into and go through a bit, as I need to fill this out to help me show you other components within the Common App. So first thing I'm going to do is click on Find a School. This is looking for your high school. Now, most of you, because I don't live in Braintree, most of you, when you click on this, it may pop up Braintree High School along the side, but right now I'm just going to type it in and click Continue. And I click on Braintree High School and continue again. And this will upload our school right into your application. You don't have to type out the address or anything like that. So that's kind of the nice feature about the Common App. Again, you'll go through and answer all of these questions to the best of your ability. So yes, you will graduate from this school. No, it's not a boarding school, even though sometimes it feels like we live here. These days we're not there. Then asks for your graduation date. So your graduation date would be 06. Not certain of the day, but I'm going to put in 06 and again 2021. Oops, if I can type that right. Sorry about that. 2021. Okay, so the next section of this application I'd like to show you is the activity section. So just a few things I'd like to point out here on this page. Certainly, this is where we're going to record some of the things that you're doing at school. And while we are going to ask you to still do a resume, this is a little bit different from that. While you're listing out your activities that you've been a part of, it's asking you to put your activities in order of importance to you. So I did go ahead and fill out a few of these. So it asks if you've had any activities you wish to report. So you might put yes. The first activity I put in community service. It's a drop-down box where I can choose from. So as you can see, I chose community service. I put as a tour guide at the Children's Museum, bring children around to see exhibits. I've done this 9, 10, and 11. And yes, I've done this all year round. How many hours? I filled that in, weeks per year. And then I come to the bottom and I would have clicked continue. It allows me to add in a second one. So I did go ahead and add in a second piece. I don't need to read to you, but what I did want to show you is this arrow here. So if I put in a couple of different activities, say I decided field hockey was the best thing I've ever done. It's the most excited I get to participate in an activity. I can make this my first activity because again, they want to know what activity is most important to you. So again, be sure not to list things that you think they want to see. They're trying to get an idea of who you are as a person and what your most important activity is. Okay, so the next section I'd like to show you is the writing section. So this is where your personal essay, as you can see, is shown. So I'm going to click on this right here. You can read it afterwards, but I'm going to click on I understand. Shows the schools that require essays. There may be some schools that don't require an essay, but since you're writing it for one, we may as well send them out to all. So down below here, this is where you'll find the topics for your essay. The application, as you can see, the application won't accept a response shorter than 250 words, but it won't accept anything larger than 650 words. So you have to keep it in that range, the 250 to 650 range. But as you can see, and again, I'm not going to read these to you, but these are the prompts with the circles that you would click on if you decided to use that prompt for your essay. Below is the box in which we'll either upload it or we'll copy and paste it into your application. So again, we're not writing your essay in the application. We're going to do that either in a Google Doc or a Word document. And then we're either going to upload it from your Google Doc or your Google Drive, or we're going to copy and paste it. Second is a disciplinary history piece. You will fill this part out to yes and no's, whether or not you've gotten into trouble or been suspended. And again, I am not going to read this to you. I'm just going to show it to you. Self-explanatory. In the additional information section, this is where you can put in any information that you haven't found that in the application that it's been able to represent you in the way you want it to. So again, a lot of kids don't typically use this area, but some do. So here they have certainly a essay or information if you wanted to provide some information about COVID, and if you wanted to share something about that, you would just simply click on yes. and a box will show up where you can either upload again or you can copy and paste if you want to describe something that's had an impact on you given COVID. So that's obviously a new question. And then below here is if you wish to provide any details or circumstances that are not reflected in the application, as I said. And again, if you choose, or if you want to talk to your guidance counselor about this, you think you might have something you want to put in here, you click on the yes, and a drop-down box again comes up where you can put something in. So as I scroll back up to the top of this page, that is your common application. So this is just the application piece that gets sent out to all of your schools. So within the application, there's another component, one of the other tabs that we need to take a look at. Let me go back for 1 second. I apologize. I missed this piece. The colleges that I did put in here, some of them may require these courses and grades to be uploaded. So if I clicked on this, I would view the colleges that do require this. So UMass Amherst is on this list. I don't believe it's going to let me see the part here. So if that happens to be you, as I click through this part, certainly you can talk to your guidance counselor about it, but this is an area where we will need to help give you our transcript so you can fill in that information. Okay, so as I said, we are not going to go through that page because I didn't put in any of the schools that require this, but there are some schools that will. The next piece that we're going to go into, or the next tab I should say that we're going to go into, is the My Colleges tab. So when I click on My Colleges, this is exactly where your schools are stored, the two that we had searched out from the beginning. So you can see BU and Stonehill are listed here, and then any other schools that you decide to put in your Common App or that you're going to be applying to will also be shown here. So the great thing about this tab is this is going to show me when I click on BU, it's going to give me a whole bunch of information about BU and how to contact them. So with this, you can see there's a college website. You can do a virtual tour, which is super helpful. If I scroll down, it shows me their deadlines and the applications. So that is, again, another helpful piece of information. I scroll down further and I can see how much it's going to cost me to send this application. Every application has a different fee, so you do want to be aware of this part. And you can map out with your parents the amount of money that this might cost. So I think that would be helpful. In addition, you can scroll down a little further and you can see what is required to BU from our school. And again, your guidance counselor is going to help you through this process. So any questions you have, that's what we're here for. You just got to reach out to us and let us know what you need help with. So as I scroll back up to the top of the page, I also want to point out these other areas. So I'm under BU. There's another list of questions. So again, in this section, we have things that are specific to BU as their information in their website and such. The common application is just the application part. Sorry to click back in. This is just the application that gets sent to all the schools. So everything you fill in here will be sent out to everywhere. And the My Colleges is specific to each one of your schools. So again, I click on BU and it gives me their information and their BU specific questions that they want you to fill in. Now, guys, you have to be prepared because as you put in your schools, you're going to need to fill out questions in every school. And it's very repetitive, but it is something that you have to do in order to apply to those schools. So just keep that in mind. Now, this page is general information, your start term. So all of you would want to start in September, unless you have something different that you're thinking of, but you would talk to your guidance counselor specifically about it. Your admissions plan. So BU does not have early action, but this is where you would indicate early action or early decision. And again, early decision is legally binding. Early action is not. But for those of you who would want to apply, it would be regular decision. That's not legally binding. And then we'd go down and answer the rest of these questions on our own. So also within this page is a number of other tabs in which you will need to fill all of these out. So we have academics information, contact information about you and your family. The academic information, typically this is where you will fill in your major once this loads. So again, ask for a complete list of majors. You would click here and you could see the list of majors if you needed to. And I am going to go back because I don't need to see the list of majors. But I am going to then click on the drop down and figure out which area, so College of Engineering, say, and which specific major within the College of Engineering. So I might take a look at all the different types that they have, but I think I want to do biomedical. Click on that and continue through the page. So again, as I've mentioned, this page questions are self-explanatory, but what I do want to point out to you is that some schools have extra essay questions. So it's important, again, to add in all the colleges that you're considering applying to, so you can then map out how many essays you might need to potentially write during this college application process. So again, this isn't typical that you have extra essays, but BU happens to have some. And again, if you look at it down here, the max number of words they're looking for is 250. So you would have to answer this question and again, upload it through your Google Doc or put it in another area, like a Word document, and then copy and paste it. So I think you get the gist of this piece of it. You're going to just go through and fill these questions out. And if you have questions, again, I can't say enough, you're going to talk to your guidance counselor about that. The second part I'd like to point out to you, which is incredibly important, is this area of recommenders in FERPA. So the FERPA section is super important because this is basically a privacy act, an education privacy act, in which you will need to fill this out in order to link your Naviance account to your common application. This also allows the school to send out documents about you, such as your letter of recommendation, your transcript, and any other information that we might need to send out for you. So what I do is when I click on the recommenders in FERPA, it brings me to this section where I click on complete release authorization. I will then read through this material, but in short, what I will do is go all the way down to the bottom of the page saying that I've read it. I click on the box. I click continue. I acknowledge that you're allowing the school to release your records and any recommendations. So I click down, scroll down here. And what this is asking me to do is I waive my right to review all recommendations and supporting documents, or I do not waive my right to review all recommendations and supporting documents. What this is asking you is basically that if you waive your right, which is what I would personally, I have my own daughter do, she's going to waive her right to see her letter of recommendation, which means that the school that you're applying to will read your letter of recommendation and believe that word for word, everything is completely true about you. If you do not waive your right, what the college or university might think is that the teacher was not as honest about it because you were able to see your letter of recommendation. So again, my advice is to potentially go the way I have suggested with my own daughter, but this is certainly an option that you can decide on. It's personal for you. You then come down to the bottom. Once you've decided, I click that I understand. I cannot change my mind once I fill this in. I scroll to the bottom of the page. I sign my name, which I think I signed in as Adam Smith, and today's date. So if I click on this little box, it gives me the calendar. I just click right on it, and it fills in the date for me. And I click Save and Close. So now that I've done that, my FERPA, my recommenders and FERPA information is complete. I will no longer need to come back into this page for anything else. Now, where it says invite recommenders, you are going to ignore this because we are not going to have you send invites to your recommenders from the common application. We are going to have you do that through Naviance, which Mr. Maz will go through in one of the other trainings that you'll find posted on the website. So again, please do not do anything else in this page. This is just to fill out the FERPA information, and you are done. Enough said about that. Down here where it says review and submit my Common App, this is where we'll actually go through when you're complete with everything and you believe you're complete with everything. You can't see anything here. It just tells me what I need to have filled out, which we haven't done any of the work here, and then we'll be ready to submit. We are nowhere near that place at this point in the school year, but certainly as you get closer, you should talk to your guidance counselor, and we're here to review your application at any point. Once you are at that point, this dashboard is really helpful to take a quick peek at the schools that you're applying to and where we are. And as you can see, the application's in progress. At some point, it will be complete. and it will say so. And then once you submit your application, it will also say submitted. So this is a nice way to look at all of your schools once you have applied. So again, that's just more of a quick look at the college application piece. And again, I briefly went through the college applications with you. I think that's a good start without going into such depth. One area that I forgot to mention in the education piece, which I'd like to come back to right here, is we click into education. I went ahead and did this, and so I could show you the FERPA, but back in Common App, in the education piece where we filled in the information, I scroll on down to the end of the page. And what I'd like to show you is how to enter in your current and most recent courses, your classes that you're in currently. So as you come down here, it's asking for the classes that you're currently enrolled in as a senior. So I'm going to click on my options. Say I'm taking 5 classes. I click on 5, not counting phys ed. It's your 5 core classes or even your electives if you have something like history of sport or psychology or something to that nature. I'm going to click on semester because that's how our courses run. We go by semesters. I'm here, it's asking me for the course title. So what I am going to do is fill in the course title. So say I'm in creative writing. It asks me to put in my course level here. So I'm going to put in that I'm in an honors. You can see it's a drop up down box or drop up, I guess any way you look at it. Honors level class. It asks for the schedule. So creative writing is a full year course, but if you're taking anything that's a semesterized class like psychology or art or anything of that nature, you would click on whichever semester you have it. So it's a full year class. I am going to click on this drop down. This is asking me for what levels. Actually, I skipped right over the course title number 2, which you can go ahead and I think you get the gist. My next one might be calculus. Click on honors. As a second time through this, I'm just listing out my courses. Again, it's a full year class. And on to the third title. So you get the gist of this. You will go through and fill out all of your classes and levels and such, and make sure that when you're typing that you're using your capitals and not just writing in all lowercase because that capitals count here. And again, a lot of the other pieces of this application are self-explanatory. So in order to keep this short for you all, I will cut myself off here and just a few other pieces just to remember as you're going through this process. Make sure you breathe. As you fill this out, everything saves. There, we can correct anything. So just be sure that you're asking questions of your guidance counselor. Make sure that you're logging in your passwords into your phone in the notes section. So if you were to meet with us at our in school, hopefully we'll be able to do that shortly. You'll be able to have your password with you so we can assist you in any way that you need. So again, please make sure that you're taking care of yourself, making sure you're chipping away at this slowly, and Mr. Mazza will be in touch with you through Naviance training, as I said, to teach you how to connect your Common application to your Naviance account. And I hope you all have enjoyed this instruction.
Today, we're going to show you how to complete an application for a college that is not on the Common App. This is our student demo Ant, and on his homepage from Naviance, I've clicked on colleges and colleges I'm applying to. You can see Bridgewater State has the Common App symbol, but Salem State does not. So in order to fill out the Salem State application, you need to go to their website to do so. You can get to the Salem State website by clicking here on Naviance or Googling it and coming up with Salem State University. From here on the home page, it says Apply Now, or you can go under Admission and Aid, Apply Now. When you scroll down, you click on Apply Now. It's pretty easy because you're going to be first-year students fall 2021. When you do that, it takes you to a page where you have to start completing some information about yourself. So I've taken a minute to fill out the personal information that they ask for on the first page. Have you ever attended college before? You say no. You put in your first, your middle, your last name, your phone number, your email address, date of birth, social security number. You need the social security number for financial aid reasons. your legal sex and your gender identity, your address. If your address is the same, your mailing one is your permanent. If you're a Massachusetts resident, which you are if you're attending to Braintree High School, your family's primary language, 1 or 2 parents you can put down, what kind of degree they hold. So if they have a bachelor's, college, high school, some high school, if you're confused about that, make sure to sit down with your parents and ask them. Citizenship, that you're a U.S. citizen, and your ethnicity. When you finish this page, you click Save and Continue. You then get prompted to this page, confirm your email address, and then when you do that, you're going to click Start Your Application. It's now going to ask you to put in your username, which they create for you, and a password that has all of these requirements. I'm going to click Remember Me because this is my home computer, but make sure you do write down your password and then hit Continue. You're then going to click on the top where it says Your Academics. It's going to ask you to fill this out. So Demo's now completed this page, so I'm just going to review it with you. Full student, fall 2021. Do you wish to be considered early action? And we've discussed what early action is. So Demo would say yes. He wants to apply for accounting, but he could have chosen any of these electives from the drop down. If he can't get into accounting, does he want to be considered for a second major? Demo said yes. And if you have any questions about these, reach out to your counselor because we can help you answer them best for you. He doesn't know which one he wants. This is, again, under that drop down. The Summer Bridge Academy, we're saying no to that. And we're saying no to the honors program. Again, talk to your counselor if you think these are right for you, if you have any questions. High school, he's graduated high school, and it asked me a search, so I put in Braintree High. Most of you started high school in September 2017. You will graduate in June 2021, and this is your graduation date. It asks you to put in your high school counselor information, and all of our email addresses are our first name dot last name at braintreeschools.org. Demo is going to send his test scores, and he's not claiming an exemption. It asks you to put in any extracurricular activities you've done or any honors. So you can always send your resume that you've done, but right here he wrote that he did the golf team. So yes, he participated in high school sports and is interested in college sports. And then we're going to click Save and Continue. It now takes you to the final step page and it tells you you're almost done. Once you submit your application, you'll be able to download it, print it, and submit your official scores. So final steps, it asks you a few other questions. Do you plan to live on campus? Do you want to file your FAFSA? And that's your financial aid form. So he's saying yes to both of those. He's not in the Air Force or doesn't have anyone in his family in the Air Force. It asks if you're currently participating in any of these programs. And for the most part, this is no for Braintree High School students, but it could pertain to you, so talk to your counselor. It asks if you're in foster care. And then it asks if you qualify for any of these. So if you qualify for free and reduced lunch or any fee waivers. It asks if you've been convicted of a felony or suspended at any time, and then to certify that your application is complete and correct. And then you click Submit Application. Once you click Submit Application, it will take you to a page where your application, it will show you that it's all set and you can upload any additional documents that you need to. In your Naviance page, you would click that your application has been submitted, and you would work with your counselor to submit the documents needed. If you have any other questions on how to submit an application for a non-Common App school, feel free to reach out to your counselor at any time.
Hi seniors, this is Mr. Mazza, and I'm going to show you how Naviance and your college applications are connected and why it's important to make sure that your Naviance is up to date and what you need to do to make sure that we as counselors and as a school can send important documents to colleges. So there's a few different nice features in Naviance, which I'm going to touch upon briefly, that you can use to help you with your whole college application process. The first is your resume, which you can find under About Me and My Stuff. Under here, you can add more information to this resume section if you already started to add it, or you can print, export, save it, and attach it to your college applications, which is nice because there's less work you need to do. Or you can use this information and transfer it into a PDF, Google Doc, or Word document to format it more nicely if you would like. You can also use the career section to explore careers or continue to explore careers. Maybe you're trying to decide between two careers and you want to make sure you're making the right decision. This career section can help you do that. Under the college section, this is where we're going to spend a lot of our time because there's a lot of important information that you need to do here. So if I go underneath, again, the college tab and click on home, there's a bunch of different tools in here that will allow you to search and continue to explore schools, such as our advanced college search or college supermatch. You can also use a lot of these tools underneath the research college section. And again, this will just help you to continue to develop your list. Now, if I go back to the college tab and click to colleges I'm thinking about, you can see for this student, they have a lot of colleges they're thinking about. This is okay. Underneath the colleges I'm thinking about section, you can have as many schools in here as you like. That doesn't matter. This is just an area for you to save colleges that you maybe explored once or twice to help you develop your list. The section that really matters is the colleges I'm applying to. Now this list, and you can see this student only has 2 schools right now. Typically we say students should have 6 to 10 schools they're applying to. But for these schools underneath, again, the colleges I'm applying to, it's very important that this is kept up to date and that the schools that you actually apply to are added and saved here. The reason why it's important is because as counselors and as a school, we need to be able to send schools documents to complete your application, and we can only send documents and information to schools that you add underneath the colleges I'm applying to section. So if you apply to a school but never add it in this section, we can't send information and documents to that school, such as your transcript, to complete your application. So what you need to make sure you do is keep this up to date. You can also, once you add a school, hit this edit button and edit and update how you applied to a school, which date you used, how you applied, and eventually the result that was given to you. So what I'm going to do now is go into the Common App and show you how exactly the Common App and your Naviance account are related. Mr. Mazza back here. So you can see I'm in the student's Common App account. Underneath the My Colleges tab, which are the schools that eventually you are going to be able to send your applications to, you can see the student added Bridgewater State. If I click on Bridgewater State, the important section I want to pay attention to here is this section called Recommenders and FERPA. If I click on that, and I already did it for this student, but I'm going to walk you through it in a second. What we need you to do is release your FERPA, which is your Privacy Act. So if I click on View Details, View Release Authorization, you can read up on what the heck FERPA is and why it's important. Again, this just allows us as a school to send information to the schools you are applying to. So what you need to make sure you do is you click this checkbox that says I read and understood the FERPA release authorization explanation above. Hit continue. You're going to hit, again, this checkbox again, and it actually won't let you save or submit this until you do. And then you need to make a decision whether you want to waive your right or do not waive your right to review all recommendations. As a counselor, we highly recommend you waive your right, and all that means is you aren't going to see what teachers and counselors, what their recommendation letters say about you. And this is important because in the eyes of schools, this looks more authentic, that these recommendations are really what the teachers think about students, and these recommendations only have great things to say about students anyways. So we highly recommend you waive your right, but you do have the option to hit I do not waive my right. Once you select one of those 2 options, again, another checkbox that you have to hit, you type your name and you make sure that you type in the date of whichever date you're filling this out. You hit OK, and you can see that there's going to be a little green check mark next to recommendations and FERPA, and that means you completed it correctly. You're not going to hit invite recommenders because I'm going to show you why in a second. But for right now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to our Naviance student. And this, again, you can see we need these 2 applications and these 2 platforms to be linked. Right now, it isn't for the student. So what I'm going to do is hit match accounts. And what this asks you to do is use the same email address that you have used for the Common App account. So I'm going to type that in. I'm going to hit the date of birth that I selected again, making sure that this matches your Common App account. If this information does not match, then it won't let you connect these 2 accounts. So I'm going to hit match accounts, and you're going to see in a second, boom, Now your Naviance and Common App are linked. And this is very important because this will now allow us as a school to send your transcript, to send your school profile, and to send your recommendation letters, which I'm going to talk about now. If you were to not match these accounts, we would not be able as counselors to send your information to schools like your transcript, and your applications would be incomplete. So what I'm going to do now is go back to colleges and go back to home. And this is how you're going to request your teachers. What you're going to do is you're going to scroll down to letters of recommendation. You're going to click on that, and it's going to take you to this page. You need to make sure you hit add request, and then you can select a teacher for which you want to request a recommendation letter. So let's just say I chose Mr. Britton. You can either choose specific colleges you want Mr. Britton to send his recommendation letter to, or you're going to hit all and current future colleges that you apply to. So this makes sure it gets sent out to all schools. You can type a little note, so I can just write in, Mr. Britton, thank you so much, boom, and you're going to hit submit request. Once you submit that request, Mr. Britton or whichever teacher you use are going to get that request, and now they can submit and attach their recommendation letter into Naviance so they can send it to schools. After you do this, you should check in with your teachers, whoever you request, just to give them a little heads up that you actually request them in Naviance, and just to thank them for everything they've done. So again, the important things to do in here are making sure your Naviance and Common App account are linked, and that again is done through the FERPA section in the Common App, and then making sure that underneath that big red rectangle, you hit match accounts. And then also to make sure that the colleges you are applying to are up to date and these are accurate. Again, if you do not add the proper schools to this that you apply to, so if you never added Bridgewater State here, we could not send information to schools and your applications would be incomplete. So that's all the important things you need to do within Naviance and Common App to make sure that we can send everything to schools and that your applications can be complete. Good luck, and if you have any questions, make sure to ask your counselors for any help that you may need. Thank you, seniors. Have a great day.